college student also dealing with type 1 diabetes. So I figured she'd be a good asset to bring in and kind of help explain what diabetes is and kind of give another outlook on how other people besides myself deal with diabetes. So to kind of open us up, I kind of want to talk about what diabetes is. And I think Sarah has a really good explanation to kind of help people who don't understand.
So basically, in simple terms, everyone has a pancreas that produces insulin, and insulin is what lowers blood sugar and kind of keeps blood sugar stable. And diabetics have trouble, their pancreas has trouble producing insulin, so their blood sugars will fluctuate and go high or low, which can in the long run be very dangerous and lead to complications.
Yeah, so when I was a freshman and I moved to college, I knew I was very nervous about kind of when I was going to be eating, where I could go if I needed help, because I didn't know if my roommates would understand diabetes and stuff like that. And an article from Yale Medicine wrote, once college students are settled on campus, new triggers can drive their blood sugar levels too high or too low, putting them at risk for complications. And they are faced with new eating and exercise routines, sleepless nights, late parties, where alcohol is abundant, and a newfound sense of independence. And I really understand this because it can be very nerve-wracking, and a lot of people do struggle with this, and it can just be hard for an adjustment like that, especially for me moving from New Hampshire down to South Carolina. I know that was one of the things I worried about. I'm sorry, I'm sure you worried about that stuff too.
Yeah, for me, I wasn't leaving as far from home, but it was still definitely stressful after being in the comfort of your own home with your parents and all of your supplies right next to you, to having to be far away and dealing with things on your own and kind of figuring the new lifestyle out.
Yeah, and on top of having to figure out that new lifestyle, alcohol is a huge factor when it comes to diabetes. According to the National Library of Medicine, moderate amounts of alcohol, when consumed with a meal, appear to have a limited effect on blood glucose and insulin levels with patients with type 1 diabetes. And this makes a lot of sense to me personally, because I will eat before I know that I'm going to consume alcohol. This doesn't only just benefit me as a diabetic, but it also benefits me regular because it allows my body to absorb that alcohol that's being consumed. So it benefits in two ways, but I feel like as a diabetic, you definitely need to have some sort of food before you're drinking. And I feel that carrying food to the bar isn't the worst idea either. I usually will bring a granola bar, just something small in case I need it, because you really never know what's going to happen. And that leads me to my next topic of kind of when you're consuming alcohol, the effects that it can and how they can look to other people. Because according to the American Diabetes Association, because of the symptoms of hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, it can slur your speech, cause drowsiness, confusion, difficulty walking, which are also symptoms of being very drunk. So whether your friends or workers at the bar see you acting like that, and then they might take that as, oh, kick them out, when in reality they really need help instead of just being pushed away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and another danger also with drinking while being a diabetic is that us diabetics have something called a glucagon that's basically like an EpiPen. If our sugars were to go really low, it's a shot of insulin to raise it quickly, and insulin actually blocks the glucagon from being able to work, so we wouldn't even be able to use that if we needed to.
Yeah, and a glucagon is one of those things that, like, it doesn't have to get used often, but it's a life-saving thing when it gets used. That leads me into my next topic of these things that diabetics need, such as glucagons, pump sites, insulin, and just kind of the prices associated with these things that they need to live. On the American Diabetes Association, they published an article that read, people with diabetes on average have medical expenditures 2.5 times higher than what would be expected without diabetes. And this kind of just shows that there are some people out there that cannot afford this medication that they need to live, which is really scary and kind of sad that these people need to worry about either their next meal or if they're gonna take care of their illness that they have, which is very, very scary.
Yeah, I actually heard about a young boy who started rationing his insulin every day and taking less and less to try to wait until the next week when he got his new supply, and he ended up passing away because he didn't have enough insulin needed to live, basically.
Yeah, that is just so sad. According to Rand blog here, drug companies charge more for insulin in the United States than in nearly 36 other countries. Rand researchers explain that it's not even close, and the average list price for a vial of insulin in Canada was $12, but if you step across the border into America, it shoots all the way up to about $99 per bottle. And I know personally a bottle of insulin will probably last me about a month. So if I was having to pay $100 a bottle, it would be life changing for me.
It adds up, definitely.
Yeah, that's very scary. But I hope this helps kind of explain how college life with diabetes is. And if you know a diabetic in college, maybe make sure that they're doing okay. And if you see them stumbling when they're drinking, maybe check their blood sugar instead of getting mad at them. Thank you.
Thank you.